Bryton McClure has been on camera since he was in diapers.
I was 2 years old. It was a bathtub Mickey Mouse commercial, so I had to be in the bathtub.
But he's used his fame to make a difference.
I founded my own organization called Rad Kids. I spoke on behalf of the Heal the World Foundation, which is Michael Jackson's charity.
Bryton McClure was born in the Los Angeles suburb of Lakewood, California.
My mother was a stay-at-home mom. My whole life, she's been there with me every day. My father was a musician. The one thing I can remember most around the house, that there would always be music.
But Bryton's dad was no amateur.
My father was a staff writer for Kenny Rogers, and he worked with Hands Across America and We Are the World.
But it wasn't his parents' show business background that inspired them to put baby Bryton in front of the camera.
I was very outgoing, and a lot of people suggested to my parents, this kid should be on TV.
So Bryton's parents took the then 2-year-old to an audition.
My first audition was for a Disney Mattel commercial. My parents, they were new to it. They didn't know about the entertainment business too much as far as acting and things like that. So we showed up on the wrong day at the wrong time, and I ended up speaking with one of the producers for the commercial. He said, tell them just to cancel the auditions tomorrow because we want this kid to be in it.
Bryton's career as a commercial actor kept him busy, but some jobs didn't even feel like work.
It was a bathtub Mickey Mouse commercial, so I had to be in the bathtub cleaning this Mickey Mouse doll. It was fun. It was never something that I got tired of doing.
A year later, the ambitious toddler landed his first role on primetime television.
I was 3 years old when I got the show Family Matters, and I was on that show for about 8.5 years.
Being a television star was no big deal to the talented youngster.
I didn't know it was work. I didn't know it was something that was work. I thought everybody did the same thing I did.
Then one day, he found out that acting was more than just fun and games.
Someone had asked me when I was probably 7 years old, how much do you get paid for doing it? And I went and asked my mom, do I get paid for doing this? She said, yeah, I think you get about $100. That was it. So it was never something on my mind,
But working on a primetime series left little time for regular school.
I was homeschooled during that time. Up until high school, my mom was a teacher. I've always been pretty good at English, like reading comprehension and writing.
Though he was homeschooled, Bryton did have an active social life.
There's so many kids in the homeschool programs these days that I didn't miss out on, having friends, having people to, hang out with, go to movies, do all that kind of fun stuff with.
Because of Bryton's fame, he was asked to make a lot of public appearances.
During the time on Family Matters, when I was about maybe 6 years old, I started to be asked to attend different charity events and speak to kids.
Bryton became a spokesman for DARE, an organization that strives to keep kids off drugs. And he was also asked to speak on behalf of pop star Michael Jackson's charity, Heal the World. I met Michael when I was around 5 years old. I had written a letter to his production company saying that I wanted to meet him. I've always been a big fan of him. I loved his music ever since I was young, growing up. He wrote back he was familiar with the show Family Matters, and he called me to say hi. I was asked to present him with an NAACP award for Entertainer of the Year, and that was the first time I actually got to personally meet with him. The King of Pop invited the young television star to his famous Neverland Ranch. It's a great place. It's got the animals, rides, movie theaters. Just a place to kind of get away and have fun. Bryton's relationship with Jackson was always a happy one. I wish everybody in the world could get to spend one day with him because he is the most normal kind of guy you can know. And seeing his legal troubles has been painful. It's always hard to watch when media and people, attack people who you know personally, because a lot of people speak on others without really knowing who they are, without really getting to spend quality time with them. I mean, he cracks jokes. He has a great sense of humor. He's very genuine. He cares about people. He does what he does in music to help other people. Bryton continued to make public appearances on behalf of important causes. It's always been
important for me and my family to kind of use being on television, being someone who's recognizable, to share messages with other kids about safe ways to live your life. I was asked to speak at a $2 billion anti-drug campaign that President Clinton was involved with. I got to meet President Clinton. He was a very, very nice man.
In time, he was inspired to create a charity of his own.
I founded my own organization called Rad Kids. Rad Kids is kind of kids sharing safe messages with kids. We traveled around the U.S. with an organization called the Kmart Kids Race Against Drugs for about 3 years. Share messages like don't ever get into a car with someone who's been drinking and driving. Anti-drug messages, things of that nature.
Being a peer speaker and role model inspired Bryton to sing for his audiences.
My dad would write songs and I would perform at these events. I did that for many years.
Bryton's musical performances launched an unlikely second career.
When I signed the recording contract was when I was about 13.
Family Matters was canceled in 1997, but Bryton didn't mind. He had a recording career to pursue.
I went over to Europe, signed with Universal in Germany, and released a single.
The pop single, Ooh, the Way I Feel About You, sold over 9 million copies.
It did very, very well. I toured over there for about a year and a half before coming back here.
Once again, Bryton used fame to support important causes.
I was asked to participate in a music video that Paul McCartney was doing, a remake of Baby You Can Drive My Car.
The McCartney video alerted kids to the dangers of drunk driving. But later, Bryton had an opportunity to help all Americans.
A few months after 9/11, Michael Jackson wrote a song to raise money for the victims and for the kids.
Jackson assembled a galaxy of recording stars for a benefit performance in Washington, D.C., including Bryton.
Mariah Carey to Celine Dion, Destiny's Child, Usher, NSYNC, all these, big names in the music industry. That was such an amazing, unforgettable experience. To be on stage with that caliber of people, especially with Michael Jackson, it was a very special feeling that I give thanks to him so much for letting me be a part of.
Bryton had enjoyed his success in the music business and had enjoyed his charity work as well, but he found that he missed acting. In 2004, he got the chance to audition for The Young and the Restless. Once again, luck was on his side.
Hey! This was my first audition for a daytime soap opera. I got a call back and then a screen test, and then next thing I knew, I had my first day of work.
Bryton jumped right into the role of the troubled Devon Hamilton.
Well, Devon's the foster child. He was in and out of group homes. He was brought in by Victor Newman on the show to help in construction with a rec center being built in the city. He developed a relationship with Lily Winters and the whole Winters family. He'd been let down his entire life, so he had no reason to be warm and trusting with someone. So it's taken almost 3 years on the show to become the character he is now, from kind of a bad guy to a good guy.
And to top everything off, in 2006, Bryton was nominated for a Daytime Emmy.
It's a little unbelievable. When I heard about it, I didn't know if it was true or not. Being among the talent on this show is such an honor for me, and then to be acknowledged in this way, to be nominated, it's a little overwhelming. I'd have to give the credit back to everybody. It's the cast, the crew, the quality of talent on the show.
He's only 20 years old, but already Bryton McClure has starred on a primetime comedy.
I didn't know it was a job. I didn't know I got paid.
Toured with a hit record.
It was a great experience seeing different parts of the world like that.
And used his fame to help make the world a better place.
There's so much that I still want to do. It was important to me, and it was important for my parents to instill in me that I was, a role model. It all seems like a highlight to me, It's just all been a very fun experience, and I'm truly blessed and lucky to have had the life that I've had.
Soapography. 2 stars, 2 stories. For more on Bree Williamson and Bryton McClure, log on to soapnet.com.